Georgie and Mandy's relationship in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage has been one of the most interesting and surprisingly mature storylines to come out of the young Sheldon universe. While the show still leans heavily into humor and family drama, one thing that stands out about Georgie and Mandy's marriage is how passionate they are about each other. And yes, that includes their very active love life. It's not something the show flaunts or turns into a running joke, but it's something that's clearly there, shaping their dynamic in very real and sometimes complicated ways. What makes their chemistry believable is that it doesn't feel forced. From the moment Georgie and Mandy met, it was obvious they were attracted to each other. That spark, which started back in young Sheldon, was more than just infatuation. It was an undeniable pull that grew stronger over time. Their relationship may have started off messy, with an unexpected pregnancy and a lot of uncertainty, but that physical attraction between them helped keep them connected even when things got hard. Now, in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, we see how that passion continues to influence their marriage. They're young, they're in love, and despite their differences, they can't seem to stay away from each other. Their physical closeness often becomes a way to patch things up when their communication fails, which, let's be honest, happens a lot. Georgie and Mandy are still figuring out how to navigate marriage, money, parenthood, and adult responsibilities, so sometimes intimacy becomes their comfort zone, the one place where everything feels right even when the world around them doesn't. But the show doesn't portray their active love life as something shallow. Instead, it's used to show how real and complicated their bond is. Their passion isn't just about attraction, it's about trying to stay connected through all the chaos. For Georgie, who's still learning how to be a husband and father, being close to Mandy makes him feel needed and appreciated. And for Mandy, who gave up a lot to start a family at such a young age, that connection helps her feel seen and desired beyond just being a mom. At the same time, the writers do a great job showing that passion alone isn't enough to sustain a marriage. Sure, Georgie and Mandy have undeniable chemistry, but when the spark fades temporarily, and it does, like in any real relationship, they're forced to confront deeper issues. That's where the story gets real. You start to see the cracks in their dynamic, the moments when love and attraction can't cover up differences in maturity, ambition, or communication. Georgie, for instance, is still growing up. He's doing his best to run the shop, provide for his family, and prove he's not the irresponsible teenager he once was. But he's still impulsive at times, still struggling with self-discipline, and sometimes he uses romance as a way to avoid tougher conversations. Mandy, on the other hand, is more emotionally grounded, but she also feels trapped between her love for Georgie and her desire for a bigger life. She's trying to find a balance between being a supportive wife and holding on to her own identity. Their chemistry, while strong, sometimes works against them. Because they're so drawn to each other physically, they can mistake that closeness for real emotional connection. It's one of the most realistic aspects of their relationship, the idea that passion can make it easy to ignore deeper problems, at least for a while. The show doesn't shy away from this. Instead, it uses it to highlight the growing pains of young love and early marriage. What's also interesting is how their dynamic contrasts with other couples in the Cooper family. Mary and George Sr.'s relationship in young Sheldon was filled with tension and distance, especially toward the end. Mima's love life has always been more about independence than stability. But with Georgie and Mandy, you get this rare mix of youthful passion and genuine affection, a reminder that even though they come from a complicated family, they're trying to build something different for themselves. Fans have pointed out that part of what makes their love story work is how much Montana Jordan and Emily Osment bring to their roles. Their chemistry feels natural. The banter, the affection, even the frustration, it all comes across as genuine. You can tell these two characters truly care about each other, even when they don't have all the answers. That's what makes their active love life feel believable and even sweet at times. It's not just about attraction, it's about two people clinging to each other as they try to figure out how to grow together. Still, that same passion could also foreshadow future challenges. As the series continues, it's likely that Georgie and Mandy will have to learn that love isn't just about how much you want someone, it's about how much you're willing to work through the hard stuff with them. And for all their affection, Both of them still have a lot of growing to do. Their passion keeps them connected, but it could also make their fights more intense, their misunderstandings more painful, and their mistakes harder to fix. In many ways, Georgie and Mandy's relationship feels like a reflection of young marriages everywhere. There's love, attraction, and a whole lot of learning. They're trying to balance romance with responsibility, passion with patience, and it's not always easy. But what makes them so relatable is that they keep trying. Their connection might not be perfect, far from it, but it's real. So yes, Georgie and Mandy's love life is definitely active, but more importantly, it's heartfelt. It's messy, emotional, and sometimes misguided, but it's also a reminder that real relationships are built on more than just fireworks. They're built on effort, forgiveness, and the courage to keep choosing each other, even when things get complicated. And that's exactly what keeps fans rooting for them. Not because they're perfect, but because they're so perfectly human. For more videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.